Well, hello, everybody. My name is Professor Francisco Rivera. I'm here with two students, Courtney Kimmy and Allison Pruitt, and we're here to talk about the Costa Rica Summer Abroad program at Santa Clara University. Now, this is a fantastic summer abroad opportunity for all of you who are interested in international human rights work. It's a 3-week course where the first week we study the international human rights law of the Americas. Second week, we study international human rights law under the United Nations. And then the third week, we focus on specific issues of international human rights law. It's a unique program because it also allows you to practice your Spanish language skills. Every afternoon, right after classes are from 9 in the morning till 1 p.m., you get to have free Spanish language classes at the Costa Rica Language Academy. And we also have site visits where we get to go in the field and get to see how rural workers are affected, in different human rights violations. So, Courtney, could you tell us a little bit about the experience that we had during the second week when we went to the rural areas in the Caribbean side of Costa Rica to meet with communities whose water supplies have been contaminated by large pineapple plantations who are using pesticides that then leak into the water sources? How was it like for you to get to know and meet these community members?
Yeah, that was a very eye-opening experience to be able to meet and speak with these people on a face-to-face basis and understand the implications that these pineapple plantations production methods are having on their quality of life. We even saw one little girl who actually had visible effects from the contamination, huge spots and marks all over her body. Yeah. And that was very difficult to see, but also I think important to experience and to be able to share that with others.
Yeah. And we also get to talk to banana and pineapple plantation workers, right, and learn about the horrible working conditions that they suffer. But on a different note, so Allison, on the third week of classes, we actually have classes at the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. Could you tell us a little bit more about that third week of classes?
Yeah, during that third week of class, you're actually in the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, and you have different guest lecturers who are attorneys at the Inter-American Court or who work for various organizations like the UNHCR in Costa Rica. So it was a really exciting and kind of diverse crash course in the different issues that the Inter-American Court of Human Rights addresses.
Right, so we learned about not only human rights law in general, but specifically we focused on some issues like women's rights, the environment, refugee law, and we also get to visit an NGO, a non-governmental organization called CEGIL, the Center for Justice and International Law, to get a feel for what it's like to work in a small NGO within Latin America on behalf of human rights victims. Costa Rica is a wonderful place to visit. I actually lived there for about 9 years. I used to be a senior attorney at the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. And I usually advise students on what to do at nights and during the weekends. San Jose is a busy Latin American city. It has a lot of nightlife, but if you really want to get to know Costa Rica, you want to get away from the city during the weekends and go to the beaches, to the volcanoes, to the different opportunities that you have in Costa Rica, including one of the world's best whitewater rafting locations, which is why we've organized a program to have an academic portion from Monday through Thursday. So every weekend you have a 3-day weekend to enjoy. We have, during the first week of class, during the first day, we have an orientation where we all get together and have dinner. And I tell you about all these possibilities, but you also learn about it from the Costa Rica Language Academy, which is your Spanish language classes every afternoon. So could you tell us a little bit about what you did over the weekends, just to relax and get to know the country a little bit better?
Yeah, during our first weekend there, we actually used the people at the Costa Rica Language Academy to help coordinate a trip to Montezuma, which is a beach, a nice beach town, very small, on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. And then our second weekend, a big group of us departed from the plantation site visit to the Caribbean side to visit a different beach town, Puerto Viejo.
That's right.
So.
And we also did some interesting tours. We went to a volcano that, imagine a perfectly conical shape, is that a word, conical? So imagine a perfect volcano in the perfect shape of a cone, where you have hot springs, stemming from the bottom of the volcano, from inside the volcano, and you're there in the middle of the jungle looking up to this volcano with lava flowing next to it, and it's just paradise. And this is what Costa Rica is all about. And you get to do that while learning about human rights law, and you learn the tools to actually help people who are suffering human rights violations. But we all need to relax, especially after the first year of law school, right? So in terms of housing, students have different options, right? You have an option of choosing a homestay, which is, you get to live with a family in Costa Rica. This is a great option for those of you who want to practice your Spanish language skills and get to know the culture a little bit better. There is a time requirement for this. You have to apply pretty early to get to have a homestay. But there are other options throughout San Jose, Costa Rica. You guys want to talk about those options?
Sure. So I'll begin. I lived in Costa Rica for the 3 weeks, and then I transitioned to the Dominican Republic for an internship. But while staying in Costa Rica, I was actually able to stay at a hostel for the full 3 weeks. And that was relatively easy to find online. I just looked at reviews, and I also coordinated with other students from my university traveling to Costa Rica so that we all stayed at that same hostel together. It made it easy to travel to and from class. Sometimes we would walk, and other times it's just a quick 5-minute cab ride away. And then while staying in the Dominican Republic for my internship, I considered a longer range of stay. So I looked at houses through Airbnb and was able to use that website to find really any kind of price range from extremely cheap to relatively expensive, and was able to find something good that worked in my price range.
So I actually stayed with Courtney at the hostel during the 3 weeks of class. The way San Jose is split up, the courses are on one side of town, and several of the internship opportunities are on the complete other opposite side of the city. So it made sense for me to stay in one location for the course portion and another location for my internship. The way I found my housing for my internship was also through Airbnb. I confirmed the address of my internship location and then just searched for houses or options in the surrounding area, and was able to find a relatively inexpensive place for the full 2 months that I was at the internship.
And I want to add that we create a Facebook page for the students who participate in this program. It's a closed group, and that's a good way for all the students, to just share with each other not just information about past housing. So, for example, Allison and Courtney are always available in that Facebook group, to share information about where they stayed, but also to share information about where you guys could actually join and share apartment options. I stay in Airbnb every summer, and I find it's really easy to do. Costa Rica is a very stable place. You will easily find housing that fits your budget, and it's such a small city that you will be able to get to the where the classes are with no problems. So after the 3 weeks of the academic portion of this course, students have the option of doing a wonderful internship opportunity with several organizations, not just in Costa Rica, but throughout Latin America. In Costa Rica, we have, for example, internships with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. We have internships with human rights NGOs, with environmental rights NGOs, and we also have opportunities throughout Latin America. For example, in Mexico City, if you're interested in reproductive rights, in Dominican Republic, if you're interested in discrimination on the basis of nationality, in Jamaica, if you're interested in LGBT rights. In Puerto Rico, we have 2 internships, one with the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, and the other one with Amnesty International. Some of these internships do require Spanish skills. Not all of them. So what I would do is I would then talk with you individually to test your Spanish language, and then we would try to find the best fit for you according to what your interests are and what the needs of the organizations are. We also offer internships in Costa Rica at the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. Courtney, you did an internship in Dominican Republic. Can you tell us how that experience was?
Sure. So I spent 6 weeks in the Dominican Republic. My internship was in Santo Domingo, the capital city there, and I cannot explain how important and meaningful this experience was for me. It really reframed my perspective of the world. As mentioned, the Dominican Republic, the internship there really involved discrimination against or on the basis of race and nationality. And we are working on the statelessness issue there and actually working to help people get their citizenship papers in order before a very strict deadline. And if not able to get their paperwork in order, they were facing deportation. Hundreds of thousands of people were facing deportation from their own country of birth. So it was an eye-opening experience, but also while there, I was able to travel to beautiful beach towns, and I was also able to travel to Puerto Rico and the U.S. British Virgin Islands when I had time. So it was a unique experience for sure.
How about you, Allison? You interned at the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, right? How was that experience?
I did. That was a fantastic experience. I, as you just mentioned, interned with the UN Refugee Agency's regional office in San Jose, Costa Rica. I worked primarily with one of the attorneys on the legal team there doing research on internal displacement. I knew nothing about the subject going into it and now know a whole lot more, but it was just a great skill building opportunity to really perfect my research and analytical skills and my ability to synthesize sort of vast amounts of information and turn them into a usable product. So I couldn't be more thankful for my experience there. I ended up interning with the UN Refugee Agency again and hope to actually work there permanently after law school. So it was great.
That's right, and it's important what Allison just mentioned because the internships during the Summer Abroad program in Costa Rica actually allowed Allison to get an internship with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Geneva for a longer period, for 3 months.
Yep.
So guys, you did the Costa Rica program and you were in Geneva also. You know, what is it about the Costa Rica program that you think would be of most interest to a particular type of student? For example, Geneva, we know that it's great. It's the United Nations. It's very expensive, right? Is Costa Rica expensive?
No, Costa Rica is very, very, very affordable. It might be slightly more expensive than the neighboring countries, but as far as comparison to some of the programs in Europe or even lifestyle in the United States, it is much more affordable, which is great for a law student.
What's it like to live in Costa Rica?
So living in Costa Rica is a blast. You get the urban city of San Jose, which actually has a really fun nightlife, a lot of live music opportunities, which I took advantage of on the weekends during my internship. Before that, during the course portion, you have, like Fran mentioned, you have 3-day weekends, so you're able to go to either coast, to the jungle, to the volcanoes. You're right in the center of Central America, so you can very easily travel to Panama or Honduras or Dominican Republic, Nicaragua. It's great and affordable and a lot of fun.
So the Costa Rica Summer Program is a wonderful opportunity for students, who have finished their first year, and they want to remember why they came to law school in the first place. You wanted to help people, right? So, but you also want a break because, face it, first year is tough. It's a really difficult year. So with the Costa Rica Summer Abroad Program, you can do both. You can learn about human rights law, which is, you're learning the tools you need to be able to help people who are victims of human rights violations in the U.S. and abroad. And you get to do so in an environment that's very conducive, to learning not just about the substance of the law, but learning about the context in which, these violations take place. Costa Rica is not the U.S. It's a poor country in Central America. You're exposed to different people who are actually victims of human rights violations. And then you can also take a break from it all, and enjoy the wonderful nature and the wonderful opportunities offered in Costa Rica. And a cherry on top of everything is you get to do an internship opportunity, if that's what you want to do, in Puerto Rico, in Costa Rica, anywhere in Latin America, and, get to have something on your resume that is going to help you get a job and help you get, to where you want to go as an attorney. So I invite everybody to apply for the Costa Rica Summer Abroad Program. You can contact us at any time for more information, and we'll see you there.